from, and
It kind of comes up to around here.
Yeah, and then we start communicating.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
So,
I was going to call it Urban Podcast. It's not. It could be. It's your podcast. It's episode 3, and you're very welcome along. We've had our overall Urban Gym intro. Last month out, we had Alison Miller on the couch. Today, you're stuck with me. My name is Ken McGuire. Andy Murphy is on the left in his stunning white Urban Gym top. This is the fancy kind of athletic version.
Yeah. New year, new me.
New year, new you.
Fresh.
Hashtag 2020.
Yeah, we went there.
We went there. And we're joined by Graham Doyle on the couch of the Irish Experience. How are you, sir?
I'm not too bad at all. Doing good.
Excellent.
Doing very well now that I'm sitting beside this clean-looking, beautiful man. At top.
He is fresh.
I didn't think you could get brighter than me with this luminous screen, but the white is just outdoing me.
Well, we've all made the effort to remain on brand with the green and the black and the whites and the greys.
Yeah.
Graham, Irish Experience. We'll go straight into it. What is it? What do you do? We'll talk about the background and how you got there, but what do you do?
Oh, it's a good question because it's actually been said to me. It's said to me a few times. Like if you didn't actually know anything about it, or you just heard that name, like we could be a drinking tour. We'd bring you on a pub crawl, which is not a bad idea either. But what we're about is adventure tourism. We're an eco-adventure tourism business. And what we want to do is deliver adventure experiences to the domestic market, like yourself, anyone here in Ireland. And we also have a focus on our international market.
Sure.
It's particularly the North American markets. We want to get them over, deliver an adventure experience that they won't ever forget.
And what is an adventure experience? Is this like we're climbing mountains, we're going down caves, we're deep sea diving, or any and all of the above?
So we focus on what's known in the industry as soft adventure. Soft adventure. Now, our main tour is our sea cave kayaking experience.
Okay.
So we get you out on the water with that. It's a sea kayaking experience like no other. I'm going to try and sell my stuff as well here.
You sell
but
away.
It's like no other. We launch from a beautiful little bay down on the Hook Peninsula. It's called Bag and Bun, steeped in history. So we're delivering a tour. You're getting to know exactly where you are, what happened there, but at the same time you're being immersed in this stunning landscape, coastal landscape, and we have some absolutely amazing sea caves out there, one of which we get to paddle right into the darkness. Really gets people out of their comfort zone, completely out of their comfort zone, so much so that we get some freakouts from time to time, but we do look after everybody.
I love it.
Nothing wrong with a freakout.
Job goals.
We've discovered people's claustrophobic tendencies when they didn't even know they had them. So that's great. You know, they'll never forget.
Yeah.
Comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, what we say is we get people out of their comfort zones into their adventure zone. So you want to be in your adventure zone.
Love it.
You don't want to get out into that other zone, which is your panic zone. Because if you do, I'm going to paddle off and leave you there.
Dang.
101.
No, I'm only joking. No,
Check out the Irish
not.
Experience online for all of your needs.
We'll cut that out after.
No, we won't.
Well, okay, let's go right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
What drew you to adventure tourism?
It's another great question, actually. I suppose growing up in Wexford, in the countryside of Wexford, when I was growing up, you were conditioned to do certain things GAA would have been one of them.
Yep.
Soccer, and you know, you did your normal stuff, and you fell into line in school, and you did whatnot. Well, I did anyway. I'm only talking for myself here. But if you did something a bit different, you'd be ridiculed for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You would.
Yeah.
What's that fella
What's he
going on?
doing there?
What's he at there off in that kayak?
But it's the same in Kilkenny. It's like if you didn't have a hurl in your hand,
Exactly.
it's like, what are you at?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. So I suppose it's when you. For me, when I went off traveling, I worked here, and went to college here, and went off traveling for a few years to many different countries. Worked in every different industry you could imagine. Crazy stuff. Like, I've worked on dairy farms. I've worked on a chicken farm. I've worked in a tax agency, purchasing and procurement. Didn't like any of it. But all the while, you know, when you're traveling, you do so many different things, and eventually start working in different adventure tourism industries. You know, I was really keen on traveling, really keen on outdoor activities. Always was. But it was only when I got to New Zealand where I was able to look around me and go, holy crap, they've made a really lucrative industry out of this. The industry was booming there at the time, and still now. New Zealand would probably be known as the adventure capital of the world in country terms. The adventure capital of the world, with Queenstown being the capital of adventure in New Zealand. And I'm kind of thinking, Jesus, sure, what has New Zealand got that Ireland hasn't got? You know, and there's not a whole lot of difference between the two countries, and we're way behind in terms of the professional industry. Definitely at that time, anyway.
Yeah.
Now, since then, we have come on in leaps and bounds, absolutely. But seeing that and working in that, straight away, I was like, okay, right, now I know. Now I've got something that I love doing that I can actually go home with. And start up my own business, and take it from there, see how it goes in Ireland.
Yeah. So you come out of New Zealand, you're busting full of ideas. You're going, I'm going to do this. Where do I start?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, first, I suppose the first thing I was like that. I was like, holy crap, which way, what am I going to do? Where am I going to do it? And what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But you know, I've always paddled, always kayaked, but like I was saying before, you don't see it as like a career. Nobody, nobody would have around here at the time anyway. So I knew it was going to involve kayaking, and it was going to involve tours. So I came back. Thinking, right, going to do this, and I was shut down fairly soon when I realised, geez, I'm going to need money for this.
There's only so far an idea will get you.
Exactly, and there was only so far you can go with that. So what I ended up doing is I went back to Australia. I had a second year visa that I hadn't used, so I went back to Australia and just worked my absolute arse off in the back arse of nowhere. Apologies for the people of Dalwallinu. But you are the back arse of nowhere.
Well, if they all,
I still have a lot of friends there as well. You're living in the back arse of nowhere. But it was a great place to save money if you put the head down. It was good pay, and we worked. I was working in a. It was like a subsidiary company of that would supply on-sites to the concrete, or to on-site or concrete on-sites to the mining industry. So I just worked like a devil there, and I was able to come back then, and during that I was like, Jesus, actually I better get some credibility in the industry. So what I did was I actually signed up to a degree over in Kerry in Tralee. One that nobody would actually even believe was a real thing, which was it was a management degree in adventure tourism. So I see now, right now I have my stepping stones towards what I want to do, and I can do it in a way where it's going to benefit me. It's going to help me in the process of setting up that business. So yeah, worked there, went back, moved to Tralee, I did a year in Tralee before moving up to Scotland to do my second year there, followed by
was the Scotland and Tralee
yeah, they
education
were
thing
linked.
connected?
Yeah, they were
Okay.
linked up. I wanted to kind of, I just wanted to get as much
Keep the travel in it as
yeah,
well. like,
exactly.
yeah.
And moved up to Fort William in Scotland, which was brilliant. Fort William was the
Wow.
outdoor capital of the UK.
You stand-
Self-proclaimed.
You stand on the sideline of Fort William's club pitch and just look at the
The
surrounds.
surroundings.
It's unreal.
But everywhere, right on the foot of Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in the UK, just kind of towering above you all the time. Beautiful place. The best of the best people in the industry worked up there, or did courses, or were lecturers in the college. It was brilliant, great experience. I followed that up then by a season in the States, California, which was great. It was great to see how the Americans do it.
Wow.
They had it nailed as well. They really knew what they were doing down there. I learned so much from them and brought a lot of those ideas home. Yes, that's plagiarism, I know, but I was happy. I took a lot of their ideas and brought them home and made them
your own.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Put
Yeah.
my own
Yeah.
spin on it. But that followed by my final year in Tralee, which also incorporated an internship which I did for my own company, the Irish Experience.
That is brilliant. What a story.
Yeah,
You had the Irish
Took
experience.
a lot of paperwork to swing that now, I tell you.
But real experience behind the Irish experience. Like, that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Like, the background work gone into to that.
Was it just yourself on the course by any chance? Like it seems like when you're saying people will rarely believe that this is a thing, you're going down a management degree in adventure tourism. That's grand. And then do you get in, and then there's like 40 other people that were going, I heard there was a management degree in adventure tourism.
It's funny you asked that, because I was expecting it to be full course, into the lecture hall. I think we started with six or seven
Wow.
on the course. I think by Christmas we were down to 4.
Wow.
And by the time we did our final exams and graduated, there was 2.
Wow.
Jesus.
No, sorry, there was still 4, but only 2 of us graduated. So only 2 of us came off the course.
Wow.
And that other one actually, Mark Purcell is his name. Myself and Mark, we graduated, and he actually he worked in the Irish Experience for the last 3 years as a sea kayaking guide down in Feather.
No
He's
way.
from Limerick, yeah. So yeah, we kind of stuck together for a while
That's
after.
cool. That is
Yeah.
really cool.
Does that make the market or the experience to get to market very, very, very small? Like are you guys kind of, I don't know, now
No.
one of a rare breed, we'll say.
No, we're not. I mean, before these courses now are cropping up all over the country, and it's probably actually saturating the market a little bit
Okay.
now at the moment.
Yeah.
Now there is some brilliant courses out there, but there was also experts here already before these courses who've been working in the industry, for years and years before. But I suppose with the tourism boom and the potential that Ireland had, there was an opportunity for these courses to arrive and train people up in the industry. I think with that particular course, a lot of you hear the title of the course,
Yep.
and it's like, geez, this is going to be brilliant. We're just going to go into the course, and we're going to be having a crack every day. We're going to be kayaks, climbing. We're going to be doing, this, that, and the other outside. But the reality of it is, it was a management degree. Most of it was inside. It was very business orientated. I think
Yeah.
we had 1 or 2 days, actually practical a year, and that's what kind of put people off eventually.
All right.
Yeah.
That's interesting because my degree is recreation sport management. So it's like 50% business, 50%, sport, like kind of pedagogy and, you do anatomy and physiology, all of that. But we could be going from, say, kicking the ball around or, doing pedagogy, teaching GA or gymnastics, and then you're going straight into accounting then. So you're hot and you're sweaty, and then you're going straight into sit down and then try to figure out numbers and all that sort of crack. Was it kind of similar in the sense of you could be out doing your adventure and then back in a lecture room, or was it a case of you're out for a full day doing an adventure activity and then there's a full day of management?
Yeah, it'd be mostly full days if
Yeah.
we were going out. We were in the hills, like we were off doing mountain navigation. Like we'll say on a Friday we had a set day, we'd go off up the hills and navigate. And there might be on a Tuesday we could be out kayaking, something like that. And then we had our set modules then for the rest of the week, and that was done. We knew what was coming up, we knew what was on. Yeah, so it was mostly it was fairly regimented like that. But unfortunately, the course doesn't exist anymore. So myself and Mark were the last to graduate from that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Motivational wise then as well, because obviously with college there's a lot of dropout in that first year. When people start a course, straight from school, they get however many points and they're all excited to go into the course. And then you normally see a good dropout before Christmas in that very first year. You had only, I think we would have had about maybe, 80, 90 students going into, say, something like Recman. So it's a big crew of people. And then it gets dropped to maybe you're 70 that. So there's still a good network of people there. So you're having to crack and going through course. Like, if you're only going in, it's only 6 and then dropping down to, 2. Like that's got to affect your motivation a little bit.
Majorly,
in terms of like days that, you don't always want to go in or you've been out late or whatever.
Well, that's why I like change anyway. I had been travelling a lot, and that after the first year I was like, right, change this up now. I'll go to Scotland, and I organised all that myself. And I think I actually felt sorry for Mark, because Mark was spending a lot of his time that year in lectures on his own, one in a lecture.
Wow.
But that's a totally different education experience. Like if you think of we've all gone through the WIT thing in some degree and in some capacity, and you expect rooms full of people and you expect the buzz and the banter and everything else that goes along with it, and then that's not there.
Yeah.
I wonder there's 2 mindsets to that, because if I bring it back to the gym, sometimes like there's classes here where there's like 20 people, 30 people, whatever for a class, and there's a big buzz. But then there's certain other days where there might just be 2 come in. But I always sell it the opposite way then. Like, you go from a big high class where I'm putting out a lot of energy to 30 and there's a good buzz and a good atmosphere, and then 2 come in and you can see the faces sometimes where like, oh my God, there's just me and Andy today. But then I always put it the other way then. I'm like, well, look, hey, you have to come in. I'm here anyway. It's a one-to-one. It's a PT session. People pay way more for a one-to-one.
Yeah.
You get more of my knowledge, more of my guidance, where I'm focusing purely on you. There's 2 ways you can look at that. You can kind of maybe shit yourself and think, oh no, he's going to kill me today, which I'm not anyway. I'm actually going to help you more so. So maybe with the lecture side of things, it might have been tough for your friend Mark, but if you have the mindset then of, no, you know what, this person can give me all of their knowledge and all of their time, you can use it to a positive.
Oh yeah.
And maybe you had, I don't know, you could fill me in, but did you have the long-term goal of knowing that at the end of the course you kind of have a vision of where you want to go, so you weren't one of those kids coming from, say, school to a degree where they just think, yeah, I'll give that a go, and sure, if I like it, I like it.
Yeah.
You had a direct
well, that's
route.
the benefit. Look, it's probably important to say as well, I was 27 when I decided to go back to college. So it's going back as basically an old fogey. Like I went to school, I went to college when I was 17 as well, and if there was a 27-year-old in my class, I'd be like, look at that feckin' old lad over there. What's he at going to college? He should be getting ready to die.
20s.
I'm 33 now.
Yeah, but like 27, but you're looking over going, Jesus, look, he has wrinkles around his eyes and everything. What? Grey hairs. So it's that's I was also like, because Mark was the only, he was a mature student as well, so it was like
Okay.
we kind of had each other to bounce off.
Fair
Everyone
enough.
else was wild.
Yeah.
But no, look, yeah, I did. I knew exactly. Um, a lot of the lads might have been just going, "Jeez, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that." Whereas I was knew what I was doing. Let's get these, put the head down, get these years out of the way, take in as much as I can possibly take out of the course and use it
Yeah.
for my advantage in the business. I knew what was happening. It was already, business plans were wrote and changed over the course of the degree. But yeah, I knew what was going on and was ready to get going as soon as I could get it off the course. Um, I was getting the business up and going. 2016 is when we got going.
Yeah.
And it's funny, myself and my fiance.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks very much. I mean, we went from just a trailer load of kayaks parked up down in Bag-and-Bun, doing a few small tours, renting kayaks down in Bag-and-Bun. We pulled out 2016. No matter what, we put serious work into website and whatnot. But August 2016, we went down to Bag-and-Bun and we just brought the kayaks down there and we set up a little stall down there. And that was the end of the summer. And it was kind of sticking our toe in the water, so to speak, to see, what the reaction would be. And just, we couldn't believe it. Like, there was a kind of a penny dropping moment there. One day, it was the second day, we brought the kayaks down. The first day, went grand.
Sure.
People
Yeah.
were renting and we took a tour out, families. And then the next day, we were supposed to be down there at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we'll be back at 10 in the morning, we're telling people. And sure, we packed up and we were down for maybe about 10 past 10. And we were driving down the road to Bag-and-Bun, and there was this crowd standing at the top of Bag-and-Bun Hill. And we're like, what's going on there? What are them lads at? And as we got closer, they start kind of running towards the Jeep. And they were like, are you coming out? Are you going out today? Are you bringing us out today? So I was like, yeah, we're going out. Yeah, we're going. They were all just standing there waiting for us.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit, yeah,
Wow.
this is good. This is a good sign.
On day two.
On
That's
day
pretty
two,
good.
yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Instant demand. Did you know the demand was there?
Yeah. Look, I had done plenty of research, but I mean, there was no, like, we're set up in Fethard now, and we're set up on the corner in Fethard-on-Sea, in a great place. I'd say this to a lot of people, like, if we opened up the booking office there and just did nothing and expected lads to come to us, it's not going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you guys here, absolutely, it's a state-of-the-art gym. And if you just opened up and expected lads to rock up to your door looking for classes, same as us, looking for tours, they're not going to come. People thought I was crazy.
Mm.
Crazy. They were, Jesus, like,
Yeah.
the locals, like, what's that madman doing? Setting up that there, sure. And which is fine, you have to have confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah.
We definitely would have been looking outside the box, like, completely, like, because we weren't going to be sitting there waiting on lads to come. We were going to go out and get them. We're going to go out online, market to the people who are going to be interested, and get them down here. Get them down. Now we get day trippers from all over the place. We get lads coming from Killarney for the day to come down to the Hook Peninsula, to Fethard-on-Sea, to take our tours, particularly our Sea Cave kayaking trip. And it's funny, I'd be chatting away to the people on tour and like, oh, where were you staying last night? Hoping that they were staying on the peninsula somewhere or in Ross. And we're going back to Killarney this evening.
It's like the whole
we're
other
staying-
side of the country.
You're like, what? You mean you drove down here this morning, and now you're driving back to Killarney this afternoon. Yeah, this is just the norm for the
Wow.
North Americans. Like,
Wow.
well, it's not the norm, but it's happening. They come from all over the place. Cork, Killarney, loads from Dublin. They're staying in Dublin. They're based in Dublin. They'll come back.
Yeah.
They'll come down to us. Go back in the evening.
In like
We're always
in,
trying to get them to see.
in twos and threes, or is it like a mini bus load of them? Or?
Family. Americans tend to be families. We get a lot of couples. A lot of
Okay.
couples.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll come from all over. So we're doing something right.
Nice.
We're not dependent on the domestic market. I mean, it's great. We know summertime we'll get all the lads from all around Ireland, and we get a lot of families and people coming down to Wexford. We do well at Wexford for the domestic market.
Yeah.
But we know that's a very short space of time.
Sure.
June, July, August, some of September, and then the Irish people disappear. They're gone. Whereas we get the internationals coming year round. We stop tours now. We stopped it this month because the sea gets a bit mad, and we do more sightseeing tours. So we'll pick families, couples up in the airport, and we'll take people sightseeing. Whereas the sea kayaking trips can get a bit gnarly, too gnarly for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What was the time difference between you knocking Tralee on the head and then setting up that trailer on the side of the road?
it was. I went into my internship in February, and we were running by the summer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So now you have to remember, like, that's not like when you're setting up a business. It's not going to happen that fast.
Yeah.
I knew I was setting up a business before I even started college. Everything was pretty much in place. It was just a matter of kind of getting the cogs moving and making sure that the plan was activated and like from February it was about just implementing everything, getting the equipment, getting set up digitally, websites and whatnot, and then that was all part of my my internship
And
for myself.
Did Tralee kind of lay all the groundwork for that, or did you go to the Leo in Wexford, or were there other supports to kind of help you get out the door, we'll say?
Yeah, there wasn't really huge support there from like the Wexford local or the Wexford Enterprise Board. Wexford Local Development were good. Enterprise Board is more about manufacturing and export.
Okay.
But as part of the internship, I did have to get a mentor on board to make sure that everything was going well, and Wexford Local Development did help me out with that. So I was able to get a mentor from there. So that was one of the stipulations that had to be done to satisfy the criteria from the college. So yeah, that did help. But I mean, the course in itself was a business course, so like the 3 years was great. Like, you know, I was able to get a good business plan, solid plan out of that. After that, then it's just you got to just work like the clappers to morning, noon, and night. Self-employed, you know, it's you know exactly what it's like. You know, if people think, oh, self-employed, actually you make up your own hours. Your own hours are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So,
and sometimes they don't come with a paycheck.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. Jesus, I didn't see a paycheck. I only started seeing paychecks there lately. But yeah, you have to be able to have the commit. You don't have the confidence. Like you're going to hit barriers all the time. I'm sure you have as well.
Yes.
But you have to have the belief and the confidence to go past those barriers, soldier on. And if you know it's going to, if you know where you're going and you believe it's going to work, you'll get past them and you'll prevail.
That's a very good point. It's kind of adapt and overcome. Yeah, I love this because we've talked a good bit now. only know Graham a short space of time, but like literally just clicked from the off.
We only met this morning.
Nice Graham.
I'm
Nice
only
Graham.
joking.
But no, just you can see, like for me anyway, you can see the character, like, and why people would want to go on a kayaking experience with Graham. You know, not just going out on a kayak, you know, whatever, or going on a tour, because he's just the life and soul of a party. He warms up a room. People want to be around him. So there's more than just the experience. Like, you're getting Graham, and that's something I feel, and a lot of good businesses and places, even like gyms and stuff as well. It's the people that people kind of warm to, you know. People
And it's
want to be
exactly the same
around,
for you
know.
here, for you guys here. They're coming in to do a class with you.
Yeah,
You know, there's a great energy in the place because I mean it's great, it's brilliant to have you guys, like there's such a positive energy coming
yeah.
out of the place, like, you
We
know,
were joking.
and we need more people around the area like that.
Pre-sub, we were at boot camp putting you through your paces, and at the end of the session, like good energy in the gym. It was like dodgeball or
Yeah.
Globo gym and average Joe's, like good energy in the gym.
There was a great energy in the
There
gym
was
that day,
great
I have to
energy.
say.
But we got talking then as well, and the idea that, like, for me, I could teach 6 classes here in a day, and you know, it could be 6:30 in the morning, you're doing your hit the fit or whatever it is, and you're back in, you got another class 9:30 or whatever, and then you're back in again for 4 in the evening. It might be my 6th class I'm teaching that day in the evening, say 8:15 or whatever, but it's a person walks through the door for the first time, whatever, it's their first session of the day. So everybody's got to get Andy at 110%, because as we talked about, this is, for us, it's our gym, it's our facility, it's our life, and you want to get across that positivity. Same way for you, we were talking briefly the other day about, you know, the way that you haul your kayaks down to the beach, you bring them down, you bring them up manually, and you're doing, you know, however many tours in a day, but people are going for the experience, not just out on a kayak, but they're looking for that crack with you. So whether we all have it, like I'm human, you're human, we all have days where you're not feeling that energetic, you're a little bit tired or whatever, and you turn up, you show up, you do your job, and you know, you give out that positive energy. Now, luckily enough for us here, I find anyway, when I come in through the door, once I've got the warm up done with a group or start chatting on the couch and have a coffee or whatever, I'm up, I'm alert, I'm active, and I get good value out of my day. Like, are you kind of the same? Like, once you're out in the water or out having the crack with the group?
You'll bounce off other people as well. Like, you know, you're 99% of the people you bring out, they want to be there. They want to have the experiences, and you know, you can feel that as well. You can feel people who don't, and maybe their missus brought them along or something.
Yeah,
There's a little nudge somewhere.
But yeah, and the people who might be a little bit nervous, those are the best people. Like,
you feel, I'd buzz off that now. If
Yeah.
someone's a little bit nervous, I kind of warm to that. Like, when I'm stood at the reception desk here and I see someone coming in and the head is kind of popping around like that, I'm like a fly to shit nearly in a way, because I'm just like straight over, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Because you can feel that uncomfortableness, and you kind of want to make them feel comfortable, and you're kind of like having the crack, having the banter, and you get a real, for me anyway, I get a real job satisfaction making someone feel comfortable once they come in here, and then seeing them go from that nervous person walking into, I really enjoyed that, and then you see them coming back again. I'm sure maybe the same out on the water or when you're going out sightseeing that as well. And you think, oh, is this person gonna be all right? Or, you know, when you watch Navy SEALs programs, like, that guy won't make it, but you're hoping that he does make it. You know, kind of, he made it to the end, deadly. You know?
Look, we get all sorts coming out. Lads who be nervous. We get, you know, I think our oldest client came out he was 86 years of age.
Wow.
And had never been kayaking before.
Wow.
Absolutely just delighted getting off the water. So happy, beaming. Like, we get other people as well who are not 86, who have never been on the water, or you know, absolutely just couldn't believe that they've done it. Just, those are the people who almost get the most out of it, you know. But like, they're all beaming when they get off the water for us.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Good energy, the experience you provide then as well. You know, it's more than just kayaking experience or
Ah,
tour
yeah,
in as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
You know.
We spoke in the first podcast about your first class
Yes.
and having the two people here and everything that happened on that first day. You had a great second day. What was or do you remember that feeling, whether it was day one or when you've expanded and you've opened up the bookings and you start to see those coming in? That's obviously got to be something that's like going, nice one. We're doing something well. This is class. What's that feeling like, knowing that you've opened the doors, you've sown the seeds, and now people are starting to come in?
Yeah, yeah. It takes a while to get there. You need a little bit of patience with your hard work as well, because sometimes you mightn't see it. You mightn't see it taken off as much as you would like. I mean, we'd be very seasonal. Like, you wouldn't be as seasonal as us. But so you'll have your lulls in the winter. But over the last 2 years now, we open bookings for the following year, around about 6 months in advance. So for instance, 2020 bookings are open now, and this year, um, just what was it? A couple of weeks ago they opened, and straight away, bookings are coming in for 2020. That's absolutely that's like, we're in a place now where it's like, this is great now. Like, we're once we open our 2020 bookings, we have the bookings coming in.
Yeah.
Whereas before, we were waiting for the good weather to come before there was bookings coming in. You're like, you don't know what's going to happen. But now it's like, the bookings are coming in, your schedule, your diary is filling up before anything, before we even get into the new year. So it's that's that kind of was a moment where, this is good. People know about us. We can have a more kind of a cohesive year, as opposed to just big peak, big drop. And obviously it keeps the cash flow going for the for the winter.
Does it make it any easier, or has it gotten any easier, or is it just like more familiar? Maybe say from 2016 to now.
Easier, yeah. It has, because now that we know what's going to be, now when we know when the season picks up, we have more staff. I mean, before it was just myself and Kimberly, and you have to do everything. You're literally having to do everything yourself. Whereas now we can plan, we can put the plan in place, and we can have staff where we need them. It takes the pressure off me, physically, and mentally. So yeah, it's easier in that sense. But yeah, we have much more people coming through the doors.
Okay.
So yeah. Now, not to say that it's easier, but it's still, it gets crazy in the peak season. Absolute madness.
Like you were saying last
we have
summer,
no
with
time
the,
for anything else. Only what we're doing. Like, there's no social life. There's nothing. But we know it's a short time where it is that crazy, and then it'll the peak will die down, and it gets a little bit more plateaued, where we can just organize the business, or a business to life, sort of a
get that balance in there.
yeah.
I think that's cool. Like, you do get a bit of time then to take a step back, because I can sometimes find the same here, where like when you're teaching a lot of classes, or just go classes, sometimes other things can be put on the back burner. Like having, like, again, we have a very good, I like to think we got a very good business plan, so we do have a vision of where we want to go, but sometimes you have to come back to that business plan, so you look and say, that's the direction we're going, that's what we want to do. Because it's the reason why, for example, I have a class timetable the way it is, and I don't fill it out with too many more classes, because I know what my body is able to do, in terms of how I can teach classes. That didn't happen overnight. It was very much, I'm 33 now, I'm doing this since I was like practically 16 as a work experience guy. So I remember when I first started doing PT, I was like, anyone wants to do PT, I'll take that PT. I was doing 8-9 PTs sometimes in a day, but like, you're burnt out. Like, that could be like on a Monday or Tuesday, but you're burnt out by Wednesday, so you're not gonna offer a very good service. Then you know what I mean. So, when I opened here, it was very much about planning classes so that I can give the ultimate and the experience to a
Exactly, yeah,
workout. Do you know what I mean? But then at the same time too, it is a business. So the business side of things, how do you find managing both business and being Mr. Active then as well? How do you find the balance?
It's 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 part and parcel almost. It is part and parcel. Yeah. I mean, you just as soon as you're meeting and greeting your clients, you are that
You're the
active. Well,
guy, yeah.
I'm active anyway. Like, you
Yeah, I
know,
can see that. I know that.
you're active anyway. So like, there's no there's not a whole lot of difference in
Yeah.
when I'm now. In fairness, like what you're saying, you can, if you're doing too much, you can get burnt out and whatnot. But yeah, you wouldn't be taking on, like, for instance, like, I used to do way too many tours in a day, just myself.
Yeah.
Whereas now I know I need to bring someone in for this, and
Yeah.
so I suppose it's managed the same. You're not going to try and do absolutely everything yourself, like, or it'll diminish the experiences that you
Yeah.
are delivering.
Because that's what I was thinking with you know, when bookings are coming in like that for 2020, you know, and you're thinking, okay, there's somewhere I can take this. I've got so many bookings looking for that particular day. You know, initially maybe you might be thinking you can do it all, but now it's like, okay, let's take a step back. I need to get someone employed in for those days. That's what we're hitting now. Because I see it with the fitness industry. A lot of trainers kind of they spend a lot of time obviously on themselves and how they look and how they appear, and they spend so much time, you know, being, you know, this ripped 8-pack guy built like a, you know, a brick whatever house, but they forget all about it's the customer coming in that's the important person. You know, so this, so I think that's a big thing with the fitness industry that I've noticed over the years with certain trainers and people within it, and you know, your Instagram influencers sometimes with saying, you know, I'm up at 5, I've got my workout in, I'm back in the gym this evening, I've got another workout in. What's your excuse? I'm like, okay, hang on a second. I'll tell you what the everyday Joe soap person excuse is. You know, they've got, you know, a wife, they've got maybe 2 or 3 kids, they're working in a management company, they've got bills to pay, you know, they don't live in a gym, their job isn't a gym. That's their life. Luckily enough for me, I've had that experience of where I've worked in car sales, believe it or not. Never sold a car in my life, by the way, Graham, but I worked in car sales.
I'm surprised at that, actually.
And I
thought you would have blagged your way into selling a few cars.
No. When the tannoid came on to say sales to BMW forecourt, I ran to the toilet and just sat there until that silence stopped going. I was just happy with my retainer. I just wanted to go home and then get back training in the evening. That's all I wanted to do. But going back to it, like, no, I like the element of fitness training, just knowing like what I want to do in terms of how I train people and the lifestyle, and the fact that like not everybody is wanting to be an Olympic world class athlete or want to have like an 8-pack. Sometimes it's about feeling good up here, not just looking good here. And that's why I try and get across with Urban Gym. You jokingly said, we were joking today about dodgeball and average Joes and that, you know, and it is a place where I want people to want to come, not feel that they have to come.
You're an average Joe's with the facilities of Globo Gym. I think that's how to describe you.
Thanks. I go home and there's a pizza in front of me. There's like an electric shock going. I am that guy. The
Fucking Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, but for us as a gym, and I know for yourself, it is that experience that you're giving to people. And I see people sometimes afraid maybe to go to a gym because they feel it's going to be maybe a big intimidating instructor. It's going to be shouting at them, roaring at them, whatever. And it's what people come in and have a good time. And it's the we've talked about before, different guests who we've had on the show and anyone who's successful is about enjoying the process and the volume over time and just keep on doing it. Same with yourself with the business. You knew going into college what you wanted to do, and that's what I wanted to pick your brain at, you know, because I've known for a long time that I've wanted to do this, but it's taken 16 years to come to fruition. But everyone sees, we opened in February, this happened overnight. It's not.
Yeah.
No, there's not. Look, for anyone starting up a business or thinking about starting up a business, it's never going to happen overnight. Never, unless you're given even if you were given the
Yeah.
money, it's still not going
And
to
it still takes
happen
work.
overnight. You're gonna. It's a long road to success,
Yeah.
until you start seeing success. Um,
And when you talk about success, I've discussed this before. Like, what is success? Like, to some people, it's, I want to finish school. I think Paddy Hullins has had his book released there recently, and he's the first member of his family to finish school. And, like, that is success in that area. You say, just fair play to you, come from Jobstown, whatever. And there's other people then, you want to get into college or get a degree, and that's success. And everyone has a different aspiration. Some people want to be a world champion. Fair enough, you want to go and be a world champion. And that's what I bring it back to with the gym, in the sense of, like, some people just want to come in, let off some steam, have a bit of a headspace after a long day, so they don't go home ripping off their partner's heads or going home narky. They've got to take it out on a bit of pads, or done some strength work, or they've done some Pilates or mobility, or they've just had a sit down with a coffee and a podcast chat. So you go home, it's like, man, that was a really nice conversation. I enjoyed that. And then you're switched off. So I something I've tried to think about, because even with my own MMA career, I've had a lot of chats with Marina about this, and there's always that wanting to do one more fight. I'll do another fight, because you want to go out on a win, but then you win that fight and then it's like, I'll go again, because that feeling of winning and success, I want to go again. But it's like, when is enough enough? And it's the same for us with here. Some people have talked to us about doing, is it franchise, Marina? People say, oh, you got to franchise that out. And I'm like, well, look, doing a franchise that, there's obviously more work. And personally, and for me, I love just being able to get up in the morning, have my breakfast, have some time with the kids and Marina, enjoy doing what I do with the class and the crack and the banter, and go home and then be back and push in even. It's tough work, don't get me wrong, but I love doing what I do. If you put on too much on top of that and then you go way bigger, people see success. Oh yeah, there's loads of, like, they've got so many followers, or they've got this is coming in now. Have you seen this? If podcast, you got this, that, the other. It's like, but like, what is success? The Happy Pair is a brand we've looked at, and their idea of they could open so many other cafes around Ireland or Europe, whatever. But they just like get up in the morning, have the breakfast, go for a swim, come back, drop the kids to school, go do the thing, back in the evening, do the job, whatever, and then have time with the kids. I think that's realistically our idea of success.
Yeah. You need a proper work-life balance.
Yeah.
You can't be just going hell for leather.
You burn out, and money is a short-term motivator, I find. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Ken and Graham. Do you find the same? Because you're very busy with your broadcasting too.
Yeah, but I came into broadcasting off the back of working for myself for 10, 12, 15, bones of 12, 15, I don't know, a long time. It seemed a long time anyway.
Yeah.
But no, I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to get better at it. But on that work life balance, I mean, what's a typical day? What's a typical day for you? Like, are you up and gone at 6 o'clock in the morning, or how does it work?
I have the advantage of I only have to go downstairs to work.
Hey.
So yeah, like for instance, 2 tours a day, 10 and 2. So we're up in the morning prepping for the tour, and up at, could be any, depending on the size of the tour, or whatnot. What kayaks need to be down on the beach. Everything needs to be ready for when those people arrive at 9:30. Yeah, so it's work doesn't start when the tour starts. It's starting. But you're working from morning, doing the tours, doing your admin then after, and then also the whole marketing side of it that you could be spending all night at if well, we do, definitely used to trying to cut down those hours at night as well, but you could be working just all night. Trying to get your brand across, get what you're doing, make sure people knowing you're there, which is a major one.
Do you get much in repeat business?
Yeah, actually we do. We're seeing people coming back every summer now.
Nice.
Bringing their families down, bringing them back maybe they'd start with the mini tour, the mini kayaking trip, and then maybe they'll be back next year or the year after, and they'll take them out on the bigger trip. You know, there's time for them to kind of up their game and come out on the half day trip. So yeah, we are. It's great to see people. It's actually amazing to see people come back. You know, it's a real kind of shot in the arm. And we're thinking we're obviously doing something right here.
Well,
you know,
considering you've got the membership based model and you've the drop in class side of things, so somebody will come for 6 weeks of boot camp, but 6 weeks of kayaking tours might be a little bit on the different side of things. But if they are coming back again, that's a sign there's obviously something going well there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a difference that way. All right, where we won't get. Although with the exception, we had one German woman come back 3 times to do the same tour. There during the summer. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not crazy. She was obviously loving her. She was staying in the area, and it would have been, I say crazy because it would have been definitely
a rarity.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, loved it every time.
Wow.
Kept coming back.
So you go on. You've the kayaking running up until the kind of the early winter side of things. What happens with the sightseeing and the other side of it? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have a couple of self drive tours.
Yeah.
We organise the itineraries. And people, everything will be organised for them.
Sound.
And then we have the other side of it where maybe you just don't want to organise anything and you don't want to drive either. And we do private tours and we pick them up in the airport and bring them wherever they want, really. But we usually would organise an itinerary for them. We'd have our set itineraries, but some people, you know, they just want to organise their own, or they have certain destinations that they don't want to miss out on, and then we'll work in the itinerary around that. And yeah, at the moment it would be it's more off season when the weather is changeable that we can't get on the water as much.
Yeah.
Hopefully now we'll expand out and we can put that all year round, and we can add more activities as well.
Okay.
Co-steering and is definitely on the agenda now for next season.
What is
co-steering?
Which is
it's a mad outdoor sport that involves ocean swimming, scrambling on rocks, climbing, caving, jumping off rocks. We have a problem getting insurance for it. Would you believe?
I was going to raise the insurance question. Seeing as you've brought it up, I mean, we see like the last couple of months for the Irish scene with leisure and outdoor related activities in particular has been something of a nightmare for traders, especially for sole traders and freelancers.
If you don't want to see me turn into a monster, you need to end this conversation now.
Has it been tough?
Oh, big time, yeah.
Okay.
It's a major issue.
Yeah.
Across not just the outdoor industry, but any
leisure,
any sort of leisure,
people,
from play barns for kids.
Yeah.
Even I'd imagine for yourself.
Ourselves, yeah, exact same.
It's a real problem. Our insurance company, it's no secret. Leisure Insure in the UK, where we got our insurance from, pulled out of the Irish market, and that will be leaving us without a policy when our insurance expires. So we're going to have to start preparing to go into some serious negotiations for our next policy.
Okay.
Unless something major changes, it's going to be a real battle.
Okay. Well, let's say to turn that and avoid the monsters. Let's say that has a positive outcome, and let's say the insurance is grand and everything is sorted, and it's not something that you're going to worry about at the minute. What does 2020 look like for the Irish experience, and what does 2020 and beyond look like? Because you knew where you wanted to go, and you knew that I've gone to New Zealand, I've come back, I've gone to Scotland and California and Australia, and I've done the course, and I've opened the business, and I've got the kayaks out, and I've got the tour going, and I've got staff coming, and I've got people coming back. you knew where you wanted to be and this was going to happen, where do you want to go?
Jesus, sounds like I want to go to bed after all that.
But it's a sign, like, you know, like you've just said, it's like the success doesn't come overnight. There's hard work in it.
You're dead right. But yeah, just when you say that, it's like, wow, just that's a lot of stuff. But
this is your life.
Yeah.
Where I want to be, I want to have tours on the road, not necessarily me doing them.
Yep.
It will be managed by myself. I want to have activities being provided, particularly down here on the Hook Peninsula. I'd like to have activities in other places as well, but again, not managed by myself.
This is stepping into franchising, Irish experience, Killarney type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe, you know, it's something like you were just saying there, about, you know, your body. And I mean, I'm not going to be, I'm not planning to be out towing lads around who are not able to paddle when I'm, you know, 50.
Yeah. All the same here.
Like, it's not going to happen. So I need to, we're building and I need the business to be in a place where it can almost not run itself, but I can manage that it is running without me on the forefront
ultimate
of it.
hands-on day to day. Yeah.
And I need people very like-minded like myself to be involved in that. So yeah, that's where I would like to be. I mean, I'm a sole trader at the moment, so probably will be going towards limited company.
Yep.
With staff in place all year round. So yeah, ideally that's where I'd like to be.
Nice.
10-year plan.
10-year plan, which may come in an awful lot sooner.
Yeah.
Tell me this then, and it's a question I put to Marina in the first podcast, and you had a crack at it as well, Andy. When people come to you for a tour, and they see the Irish experience, what is it? What is that experience that you want them to go away with? They've had the kayaking, or they've had the sightseeing tour, or they've done some manner activity, but what way do you want them leaving?
You want them leaving on a high. You want them leaving thinking, or feeling, actually. It's more about their feelings, that they're leaving with something unique that they've experienced, but also feeling. I mean, they're getting. I mean, it's not just the kayaking. You're getting positive energy. You're getting an interactive history lesson. We take locals out that, you know, they just can't believe what they're after hearing. From like taking out. I mean, for instance, the Bag and Bun was the coming of the Normans to Ireland, and the history that happened after that. So you're absorbing all this information as you're going. It's not pushed on you. It's just I mean, I'll have to take you on tour.
We can record on water. This is fine.
Yeah, just let's do that. So they're leaving with kind of almost like a euphoric.
Nice.
They're re-energized from, like, it's a physical experience as well. Sure. So, you know, it's great for your mind and your body, but you've got everything else that's kind of hovering around that kayaking experience.
Class.
Yeah.
I like it. We're gonna have to do that.
Has me sold. Genuinely,
it has me sold indeed. Any closing questions?
Oh God, my mind was blown just even hearing you talk there. I see a lot of similarities. Bringing it back to the gym setting here, with, you know, you don't see yourself doing the kayaking touring when you're 50 and that, like, it's the kind of the progression of the business in terms of getting other people in, but how one little question I'll ask is how do you go about finding someone that's gonna have a similar passion to you, so that when they're out in the boat that they're given the same positive experience that you're given, that they're not just going out there, they've had a stressful night the night before and they're going out with that same stresses. How do you energize your staff or get them to give that experience that Graham that you can give?
You either have it or you don't. You can't coach it. You can't coach people to radiate positive energy. It's just not going to happen. So it's difficult. It's it's difficult to find the right people. But if you can find someone that does do that, you can then coach them in other areas. Coach them, specific skills in obviously for you guys it's MMA and the fitness side of it, and for me it's specific details on what happens on tour, or if it's a kayaking tour, obviously you need specific skills and qualifications for that. If you can find someone like that, it's about coaching that side of things, but you can't coach giving out that positive energy.
Personality wise, I think that's one of the biggest blessings I had from my management role in Whites, was getting to manage people and understanding that same idea. Sometimes not everybody's going to be like you. You might have, I would say when I was taking on a member of staff, I would never take someone on just off a CV. When you see their CV, it could be written down, it's emailed into you, whatever. Most of them emails would probably be in the recycling or that, because I'm not seeing. But if someone came into me physically and said, hey, have you any jobs going? And there might not be any jobs going, but you can see, like you said, that person radiates positivity. They're coming in, the eye contact, they're shaking the hand. There's a bit of character about them. When something comes up, you're like, do you remember that person came in that day?
That's definitely
it's kind of thing. And so maybe even for the link with WIT, for us students possibly looking for that work experience. Do you have people looking for work experience?
Yeah, we would.
So you could probably maybe gauge off that.
Yeah.
I've answered my own question, haven't I?
Yeah.
Marina's giving me the daggers there over there. I'm not even looking over. I know she's looking at me. Ken, we're probably done for time, are we? Because we're going to get killed.
On that note, Graham, if people want to find out more, where do they go?
So you can check out our website, theirishexperience.com. More locally, hookheadadventures.ie, which is our local business down in Featherton-Sea. And Instagram, Facebook, The Irish Experience, or you can call me personally.
Excellent. Well,
numbers on the website.
You might regret that, Graham.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Graham Doyle, The Irish Experience. We've had Andy Murphy. I'm Ken McGuire. Shane O'Connor is on camera. Marina is beside him as well. Get yourselves onto the podcast. Subscribe today. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, wherever you do your listening. Check out urbangym.ie. Watch the shows in full and back for episodes 1 and 2 as well on YouTube. Until next month. That's it. Good luck.
Great stuff. Bye-bye.